Black Sports Network proudly presents the CAA Women's Lacrosse Game of the Week. Today, live from Sherwood Stadium, conference play begins with a matchup between Elon University Phoenix and the Hofstra Pride. We welcome you to Hempstead, New York. Matt Shortis, Tracy Weiner, and Meg McGuire as we get ready for the beginning of conference play. And Tracy, always an exciting time, a good opportunity for both teams, regardless of what you did in your non-conference, to kind of wipe the slate clean and start anew.
Absolutely. Everything else is just window dressing leading up to this. This is what it's all about, because the conference champion ultimately goes to the NCAA tournament, which is every single team's goal. So it's nice to start it off. You know, the weather this morning was a little bit sketchy, but now it's absolutely beautiful. It's a great day for lacrosse.
And Meg, both teams, both coaches feel as if they are playing very well and at the right time heading into conference play.
I think Elon has a lot more to prove after what you were saying, that this is going to be like a clean slate for this team. Josh Hofstra saying that they feel like they have the potential to be a very dangerous team going into the CAAs, and Hofstra is more than confident at this point of the season.
Hofstra has won 3 straight games, including a win over New Hampshire in their last game, and Alyssa Perella, who's in the middle of that huddle, had a career day, 9 points en route to a CAA Player of the Week honors. And you have 2 of the best offensive players in this matchup, Tracy, between Stephanie Asher, the CAA current career leader, active career leader in goals, and Alyssa Perella. So those 2 kind of going that game within a game battle should be fun to watch.
That should be fun to watch. For me, I like to watch a defensive matchup on that, because honestly, Hofstra has the other pieces in Shapiro, Seacamp, Matera. You know, those are the players that are going to have to expose their matchups, because the number 1 defender will be on Perella, and the number 1 defender of Hofstra will be guarding Asher. So for me, it comes down to the 2, 3, and 4s to see if they can expose their matchups.
We take a look at Maddie Fields, who's had a pretty good season, coming off a 10-save performance last week against New Hampshire. Just 5 starts in 9 games last year, averaging just under 10 goals allowed per contest and around a 50% save percentage. And Shannon Smith saying the defense in front of her is markedly better than it was last year and even earlier this season.
Well, listen, we make no bones about it. This is Shannon Smith's team. This is what she's been waiting for since she took the helm at Hofstra University. These are the girls that understand her mindset. And again, coming from Long Island, coaching against her as a player, coaching against her, you know, watching her do this. She only knows how to win. That's all Shannon Smith brings to the table. She's a winner through, in, and out.
Birdsell took the draw and won the draw cleanly for Elon. The Phoenix are in the road maroon with gold numbers and lettering, and Hofstra is in the home white here at Hofstra University. So we get a first look at Cami Lynch and the Elon Phoenix offense.
Well, that offense without Nicole Sinacori, though, they're missing a major piece. Sinacori's a stud for them.
Sinacori going out with a knee injury, has not played in the last 3 games. She's going to be out for the remainder of the season as well.
The dreaded torn ACL. Unfortunately, too familiar in girls lacrosse.
Well, Asher goes to the turf, able to keep it alive, and then feeds it up towards the top of the box area. And Elon continues to push forward. Here's Cooper, a shot on the drive, out of bounds, behind an X, and the officials will say it still belongs to Elon. Close foot race towards goal line extended. Maddie Fields comes out to play this, causes a turnover, and it will be... I thought initially they signaled Hofstra ball, but now they're saying it was Fields who deflected it out of bounds.
It's 2 tough calls. You don't want to keep the ball down here. You know, there's 2 opportunities that Hofstra had to gain possession.
There's Dupere, who's played really well the last couple of games, had a goal against Virginia Tech. He's only played 3 games this season, but has come on towards the latter stages of that non-conference slate. Now Godfrey with a step. Push towards goal line extended. She circles around at X. Godfrey up top for Lynch. Lynch a little trouble handling this. Ball to the turf. Hofstra scoops it up. And then we'll have a whistle on the restart.
Absolutely, and that's great defense by Hofstra. And you see what they're doing. They're playing high pressure. As soon as you get to the 8 meter, there's somebody on you hip to hip. They are not giving any cushion. They're not just keeping heels on the 8. They're playing a higher pressure defense.
We'll get a look at Hofstra's offense. Meg, over this 3-game winning streak, Hofstra has played very well, especially on the offensive end of the field.
Ever since Alyssa Perella has come back, her and Alexa Matera have really been the shining stars of this team. But you're seeing a lot as well from the freshmen like Katie Whelan. You've heard nothing but good things about her from not only Perella, but also Coach Shannon Smith. She also is coming off being CAA Rookie of the Week after her performances last week. So nothing but great things to say about this offense.
So Hofstra moving around the 12-meter circle. Shoveled back out to Katie Whelan, as Meg just mentioned. Whelan having a fantastic rookie campaign for the Pride.
Well, I remember coaching against her the last few years at Long Beach. Unbelievable player. Only has one gear.
And she helped lead Long Beach to their first ever county finals appearance in Class A with you in Massapequa locally.
That's correct.
Hard fake to the left side for Perella. Perella met with the double team. She's pushed back out. Perella looks right on the crease, finding a shot inside. Save made. Ball comes out, and Elon's got it. We'll have a whistle and a restart as Elon will have it, but a good first answer to the first test for Cipollone.
Cipollone's one of those goalies that, you know, she makes that first save and her confidence starts to get a little higher. You know, goalies, as you know, they're kind of a rare breed. So when they get that first save in, you know, usually that's a good sign if you're a defender on Elon.
If you're on the Hofstra side, you like the way the ball moved. Shapiro finding inside and just came up with a really tough save, did Cipollone.
Can't make a great save without a great shot.
Just underway here at Hofstra University. This game was moved up from its original start time of 5 o'clock because of some impending weather. So the Northeast lacrosse season has kind of moved around and morphed around as a result of the predictions.
I'm halfway through my high school season, Matt, and we have played one game.
We have had, I mean, that's been a talk throughout the high school coaches around Long Island. Here we'll have an 8-meter shot from Dupere. 5 points on the season for Dupere, 3 goals, a couple of assists. Takes a couple steps inside that line and deflected as she lets go of that shot high of the cage.
Hofstra's defense is very, very impressive. They are not going to let you breathe. This is not the type of defense that's going to sit back and let the offense come to them. Obviously, Shannon Smith has made defense a priority. You know, you have Shanna Brady running the show here, who was an All-American defender out of Maryland. And it's just a different mentality. It's just a different vibe. And those are the kinds of defenses, though, you have to trust your goalie. And as coaches, you need to be extremely confident in your players on the field.
And what difference are you seeing from them this year as opposed to last year?
Aggressive. Much more aggressive and confident.
Here is Perella on the 8-meter half circle. And assisted on that shot that was saved by Cipollone a moment ago. Feed behind the cage for Ancona, the senior. 10 points on the year. Ancona back up top. It comes for Shapiro. Back to Ancona, cradling to her right. High feed for Mary Kate Garrity. She lost it. Scooped up off the turf by Ancona, though. And new life for the Pride. This is a Hofstra team that plays a good amount of freshmen, underclassmen as well. Perella chief among them. The sophomore, that shot deflected all the way out towards the sideline, scooped up by Whelan.
And that'll get them a new 90 seconds as well. So they can really take their time now and set up whatever play that they'd like. You know, a shot clock in place. A lot of people didn't like it at first. I absolutely love it.
Got things moving around. Here's Whelan, the freshman. And they work it around the horn. High pass for Shapiro. She fights to keep it in bounds, does so, but stepped on the end line as she was playing the ball, so it will be Elon possession.
The one thing that Hofstra is going to have to limit if they want to continue to move forward and show progress is those unforced errors. They're going to have to really take care of the ball and start having teams play from behind against them as opposed to Hofstra always trying to have to catch up.
But I think it also really shows how great this defense is on Elon. That's something Coach Shannon Smith said before this game, that this is a scary team on defense, and they're going to have to really attack and be that aggressive team that you were mentioning earlier.
Absolutely, and that will come with unforced errors as well. Until they feel each other out. You know, 90 seconds is a long time. People think, oh, the shot clock, 90 seconds. But it's a lot longer than you think.
Here's Godfrey around the horn for Elon. And again, Meg talks about that 1-8 team, but they have played a tremendous schedule. Here's a low shot saved by Fields. I mean, you open the season with Duke, Virginia, and Notre Dame.
Well, that's, you know, what Coach Hofstra knows. He was the assistant at Duke for many, many, many years, was Josh. And when he got this job, he said right away, you know, that's where we're aiming to get. That's where the bar has to be set. And, you know, I have an ultimate amount of respect for him. He does a great job recruiting as well. The college itself is, you know, it's a nice place. And, you know, we expect great things from Elon moving forward in the future.
And I think they got to that point very quickly. I mean, an NCAA tournament appearance in their 4th season as a program.
And that's his aggressive approach to the game. And again, coming from Duke, you know, that's all they know. That hit the pipe. I don't think she got a piece of that. Do you think, Meg?
Oh, no. That was a close one.
Scrum forward in front. It's Hofstra coming away with the loose ball.
Hofstra's going to battle you for every 50-50 ground ball. And that's that mentality, again, that a Coach Smith brings to the table is, you know, dirty in the 30s, as we call it. And that's where the game is won and lost most of the time.
And Kona straight away. So both teams have looked somewhat crisp on offense. The goalies have come up big in the early part. And a shot that didn't have a whole lot behind it. Well played defensively. Katie Whelan couldn't get that off cleanly.
No, and again, going back to the defense that Elon has, they are challenging Hofstra on every single shot and every possession once they get inside the 8. So, you know, they're going to have to get those shots off before the swarm comes in.
And to get back to Elon and that tough schedule, you know, when I asked Coach Hofstra just to kind of get a feel for where your team is at, he said, you know, I'm actually having a lot of fun with this team. We're getting back to some of the fun areas of lacrosse where we felt like we put a lot of pressure on ourselves to not only get back to where we were last year, but to continue to build on top of what they did last year.
You always want to set the bar higher. You know, I understand that. And obviously, if you're not winning a national championship, then you haven't reached your ultimate goal. So you have to have fun doing it, though. That's the thing about girls is you can be the best team on paper. If they're not having fun doing it, they're not going to be successful.
Godfrey tries to change hands. She lost her footing. Ball's dislodged, and a loose ball in front. Fields comes away with it for Hofstra.
Letting them play today. I love it. This is my kind of lacrosse.
Yeah, there's some good physicality on
Absolutely.
the crease from both teams. Here's Ancona with a head of steam. Ancona feeding to the crease, and it gets through. Unable to be handled by Katie Whelan. Boy, Hofstra missing on a golden opportunity.
That was a perfectly set up 4v3. Whalen makes a clean catch on that one. And, you know, you wanted to make that clean catch by May, but she makes a clean catch on that one, and that's a textbook 4v3 goal.
So Elon quickly moves out the other way, back to even strength here on both sides. Just about 10 minutes gone in the opening half. No score yet in the first conference game of the season for both of these teams, Hofstra and Elon. Again, Hofstra a couple years removed from probably the low point of Shannon Smith's coaching career here at Hofstra. She is now in her 6th season, just 3 wins 2 years ago. They built upon that last year with 8, and they continue to kind of build upon that this year with a winning record heading into conference play.
I would expect nothing less from Shannon Smith. Again, one of the greatest players to ever come off Long Island as a high school player, and then one of the greatest players to ever come out of the college ranks from Long Island. And it's just a natural progression for her to coach a Long Island college team. I love everything that she brings emotionally, X's and O's. She can probably still get out there and smoke half the girls on the field. That's how good she is.
Sure.
Hofstra only also coming in with a little bit of confidence. They've been 7-3 in their last 10 seasons when it comes to CAA openers. So that's got to be set in the minds of some of these players on the field that have been with Shannon for the last 4 years now.
Well, and that's what she expects from them. Make no mistake about it. Shannon Smith is not a coach that takes any pride in moral victories.
Mm-hmm. You can see the passion from the sidelines, I can tell you that.
Always. And I love her whole coaching staff. Shannon Brady, Alyssa Constantino. You know, you look at those players, and they all play at the top programs. Constantino coming out of Syracuse. Her sister plays there now. West Islip kid. Again, Shannon Brady. St. Anthony's, I believe she played for, out of Maryland, a couple of national championships in her back pocket. And then Shannon at a West Bab, and national championships and All-American trophies and hardware everywhere. It's an impressive staff.
So we'll get to this in a second. Here is Whelan again. Katie Whelan with 21 goals and 3 assists in her freshman campaign. And we got our first goal of the game. Hofstra breaks through first. Alexa Matera, the sophomore, buries it for the Pride.
It's a great look by Matera. You see she gets her hands free, and the thing about this was Matera takes no hesitation in getting this shot off. So prior to the defense being able to close in on her, you see right here, she makes the catch, makes her dodge, and right there, hands are free before the swarm comes in. Perfectly placed, unsavable shot.
Even though she's only a sophomore, she's still an offensive leader on this team along with Alyssa Perella. That's her 28th goal of the season right there, starting things off great for the Pride.
You know, you talk about her only being a sophomore, but most of these kids, as you both know, have been playing since probably 3rd and 4th grade. So this is all that they know how to do. And you think about it as a sophomore, a lot of them look at it as I only have 3 seasons left in my career for those that don't go on to play at the next level. So, you know, at this point, and I'm sure that Coach Smith is not one that says, I don't care what grade you're in.
Yep.
If you're able to go to goal, make sure you get to goal.
If you're playing well, you're going to do well out there.
That's exactly right. And she doesn't care who the star is. She doesn't care who scores the goals as long as the team gets it done.
Matera's now scored in 8 straight. She's been an offensive dynamo for Hofstra in the latter part of this season. 1,000-point scorer in basketball at East Islip High School. Definitely offensive-minded.
Of course, and knows how to use her body well. You know, the basketball players, it translates so good to the sport of lacrosse. You see her on the circle right there because you know how to box out. You know how to use your body to protect.
So now we're tied at 1 on the draws. As Elon won the first, Hofstra winning this one. Elon has won the draw control battle in their last 2 games. The first 2 games all season where they had the edge at the draw control circle.
And you know that that's a stat that if you win the draw controls 90% of the time, you win the game.
And that's something that Coach Shannon Smith has really been working on in practice with these athletes.
Here's Perella, shot whistling wide from Ancona's stick. A little backhanded attempt from Ancona.
It's a good look.
Perella again now, roll dodge. Perella fighting hard towards cage, lets it go wide left.
What a great roll dodge by Perella there to free herself up, just missing that upper corner.
Ancona receiving it back again, right on that left wing, and we'll have a whistle and a free position shot upcoming.
You see that Hofstra has determined where the weak spot is. The last 3 drives have all come from that elbow, and they have split the defenders before they can seal it off.
So here is Carly Ancona, the senior. 10 points on the season, readies from a free position shot off the left hash. Moves inside and hammered from behind, and she's going to get another opportunity at it.
Could have been a 10-yard flag on that one, man.
Well, you said they've been letting him play. Maybe they're seeing how much rope they can get.
That's exactly right. I don't blame him. Play till you hear the whistle.
So Ancona gets a little better positioning on this one. Shade left of center. Cipollone readies herself. Ancona, that one came out on the back. The pullback of the shot, a windup, and a rebound and a loose ball to Hofstra.
Yeah, Ancona took the right path to the cage. It just wasn't sharp enough, so the defender was able to catch up to it. If she takes a more of a diagonal run at the cage on that, she can seal that defender.
This is Perella fighting hard, turnaround shot wide. Yeah, she's been a little bit more aggressive. Early on, she was looking to feed. Now she's looking for her shot.
I'm sure she's been working on that since the end of last season on a regular basis.
And at 9 points in the last game, a win over New Hampshire. 6 goals, 3 assists, and Hofstra gets their signals crossed and throws the ball away.
That 9 points was the first since 2015 when Britton Altamari did it in March of 2015. So you can tell one offensive leader to another that Alyssa is trying to just add to this game, helping out with Matera's goal.
As we approach the midway portion of the first half, Hofstra leading Elon 1-0. First game of the CAA slate for both teams. Matt Shortis, Tracy Wiener, and Meg McGuire with you from Hofstra University. Part of what has become a CAA doubleheader today on Lac Sports Network. As we'll have the men's side of things coming up at 7 o'clock later tonight with Drexel and Towson. Our dodge from the left side. This is Cowley. As Cowley beats Fields, and we're tied up at 1.
Cowley goes right down the elbow there, and when you watch her go, you know, it doesn't look like she's going to shoot, doesn't look like she's going to shoot, but she always keeps her stick in that position where it's protected, but her hands are free. You see right here, and she'll roll, and then she'll roll back and keeps her hands free, and as soon as she has that step, she lets it fly.
Tough shot, tight in, near side post against Fields.
she works that area. Traditionally a play when they roll like that, they're going to roll down Broadway. They're going to try to get down to the middle, and instead setting up the defender. Ancona's doing a nice job protecting the middle of the 8-meter, which is really what you're taught, to kind of ride them out to that side. But that was just a perfectly placed shot. And again, sometimes the best laid plans of the defender doesn't always work. Callie just finds that opening and makes sure that she doesn't miss.
And that's the thing. This game has been kind of the battle of the defenses between these two teams. So just one slip up can cause an opportunity just for the other offense.
Tied up at 1. Good fan section from Elon's side of things here at Hofstra, with a decent amount of New York tri-state area players on the Elon roster, that being Connecticut, Jersey, New York.
Also want to point out that Melissa Birdsell has been taking most of these draw controls. In the last game that Elon participated in, Stephanie Asher with a game record for the most draw controls in a single game. That's a program record for Elon right there. So it's interesting to see Birdsell, even though Asher is the one with 45 draw controls in the season so far.
Asher had been taking the draws earlier in the year, and then they moved her to the circle. They felt like that was a better fit for her to win the draw controls, and that was part of the change in what has led to Elon winning the draws the last couple of games.
Well, you want the ball in her stick, and if she's not winning it off the self-draw, then you put her on the circle, and ultimately she gets to handle the ball a little bit more, if the draw specialist knows what they're doing.
Hofstra moving in towards the crease. We're tied up at 1 now. As Perella had the ball in her stick, we have a whistle away from the ball.
3 seconds.
So a defensive 3-second violation, and that'll set up a free position shot for Hofstra.
And that's a mental error by Callie on that defense. You can see the yellow line. You got to keep your heels on there, stay out of it, and this is just a great spot to shoot from.
Hofstra's leading scorer, Alyssa Perella, cradles the stick, ready for the whistle. Cuts back to her right, lets it fly wide. Hofstra backing up in the form of Katie Whelan. Well, Perella's had some really good shots, just been off target so far.
Yeah, definitely. She has good looks. Her hands are free. She's just trying to be a little too pinpoint on the accuracy.
It's Drew Shapiro straight away, left side for Whelan it comes. Whelan with a little pass fake near side for Perella now. Perella shuffles the feet. Goal line extended. Surveying, back it comes for Ancona. Ancona, Perella, Whelan, they've had a bunch of touches so far today. Back out it comes for Ancona. Look right on the crease for Shapiro. Shapiro bodied off the ball. She's got to feed it back outside. Cutting back inside it comes for Hofstra. And the interior defense of Elon answers the bell twice.
There's a nice swarm on that.
Back it is for Perella at X. Perella trying to body her way in. Flag is up. And a delayed whistle on Elon.
They're going to get called for a push on this, I believe, as Shapiro is trying to come in. As soon as you turn your stick parallel to the ground and you lock out your elbows, you're going to get a call on that every single time. As soon as the elbows lock, it's an automatic flag.
I believe they whistled Quinn Daly, the freshman from Elon, for that. And her number counterpart, number 3, Shapiro, tries to sidearm a shot, drops the angle, and it goes high. And that'll be a shot clock violation on Hofstra, the 90 seconds elapsing.
It's good defense so far by both teams. The offense, they're going to have to figure it out where the best angle of attack is. Right now, they're still kind of feeling up their matchups to see how they do, but everything that they do ends up in the middle of the 8-meter. When that happens, both teams are getting swarmed. So I think that they're either going to have to come from X or the elbows to have any success.
But
they want to open it up.
So often when teams get the ball to the middle of the 8-meter, that automatically spells success. How are the defenses so successfully swarming to the ball to deny that, not the penetration, but to deny any shot from the penetration?
Well, because they're throwing it into the swarm where they're not in a 1v1. They're throwing it into a swarm where the other defense is still, heels on the 8 and able to collapse.
There's Dupere trying to create something. Fields came out to challenge her as an extra defender. Now Godfrey. Elon has not possessed the ball a whole heck of a lot. Hofstra has had some long extended possessions this afternoon.
Hofstra's definitely had the better looks. They just haven't been able to bury their shots.
We're getting an 8-meter opportunity here for Cammie Lynch, a sophomore out of Red Bank, New Jersey. Mentioned a lot of those tri-state representatives on the Elon squad. Played at Red Bank Catholic High School. 4 goals on the season as she readies herself.
Can hear Coach Smith all the way up here shouting some instruction.
Especially on the 8 meters, so critical to have your defense set. Here's a high shot as Maddie Fields saw all the way.
Yeah, you're not going to beat Maddie Fields with a shot like that. She's just too talented a goalie.
You always talk about offensive coaches, hear them talking about changing angles and either shooting high to low or low to high.
Yes.
You don't want to be on the same level.
No, and as the defense is collapsing, the only shot a goalie can see is high stick side. Honestly, what you really want to do when the defense is collapsing is get a low shot off where the goalie has to physically look and try to pick up the ball through a whole bunch of legs.
Annalise Martin able to move the ball into the offensive area. Defender for Hofstra, the junior, in the starting lineup today. She started 11 of 13 games this season. Here's Ancona right on the crease, tripped up. And it looks like an offensive foul against Hofstra.
They call it charge or in the crease, one of the two. She fell into the crease. They're going to let it go back to the goalie. And it's coming out. So I would say that it was a charge.
Drew Shapiro just getting caught up in there. Couldn't really do anything about it. Just going to take the charge and the penalty.
Oberly, nice job defensively. Part of that swarm for Elon. Low-scoring defensive battle midway through the first half, tied at 1 in the CAA opener for both of these teams.
I do find it very interesting that these teams are not really running anything from behind. And that's just a coach's style, but everybody has their own way. A lot of people run from X and some people run from the top.
These are two teams that offensively the last several weeks, they've really been putting a decent amount of goals on the board. A shot, and Fields able to stop this. Pick back up, blocked in front by a stick of a Hofstra defender. Loose ball popped up into the air. We'll have a whistle on an empty stiff check against Elon. As I talked about, Elon has scored 12 in the 14-12 loss to Virginia Tech, 14 to Coastal Carolina the game before that. So both teams have been able to put up some offensive numbers in the last couple weeks.
Well, they both move the ball very well, but both of these coaches are students of the game, and I'm sure they've watched a million hours of tape, and I'm sure what they're trying to do is get them to get out of their comfort zone and what's been working for them and try to, come up with a different plan. And so it'll be interesting to see at halftime what adjustments are made, because, that's the part of the game that I love is, okay, so we've played 30 minutes doing this. Let's see what we can do to make things better in the next 30 minutes.
And Coach Smith is really good at centering her team after halftime, changing it up. And these players, just a testament to them, just how much they can change it up in the second half to really get some offense going. It's something that has been in every single game we've seen this season out of the Hofstra Pride, including even the win over New Hampshire when they were still winning, and even being able to change it up, especially getting Matera some more looks, and she was able to do well in that second half.
Here's Perello. Her and Matera have been a little quiet so far today, as we've talked about both offenses. Just 2 combined goals scored as we approach the 11-minute mark of this first half. Perella, the double team, comes over to her immediately and rolls out of it, and we have a whistle.
That was a great move, and you can see it up here, her setting them up. So what Perella does is she drives to the right, they overplay her towards the middle, and she rolls to the weak side, and as the defender slides in, it's an automatic obstruction of shooting space.
Here is Perella, let it fly a little wide on a free position a moment ago. Low to high, stop by Cipollone, and Elon's got it on the rebound.
Hofstra's been getting a lot of these types of opportunities, but it's really about how much they're able to capitalize. And so far, we just haven't seen it from the Pride being able to actually be accurate on these type of shots.
Elon streaking up ahead the other way. Cipollone, not the greatest save percentage on the season, just under 30%, but she's played well so far this afternoon. Hard collision near the far sideline. Out of bounds it goes. And an Elon player down. I believe it's going to be Hofstra ball in a moment as the training staff for the Phoenix side of things comes out to check on the down player.
And again, that was a 50-50 ground ball. You saw it coming right there. And again, that's just a hard-nosed play. Everybody going for that free ball, but I'd be surprised if they let her stay in this game.
I think that's Birdsell that went down.
Yep.
You know, both girls looked like they had their eyes solely on the ball. So, you know, two girls going
Sure.
100 miles an hour and meet head to head almost.
I think they were looking to see if they were watching it to see if they had a play on it, if it was going out of bounds. So they really were not looking. She says she's okay. Good for her. Look, no blood, no bone, no foul.
That's the thing also, kind of in any sport, you're going to keep your head down. These collisions are bound to happen at one point or another.
You know, you have to go through that initial protocol, as you know, so they'll bring her off. And, I mean, that is definitely almost shoulder to head, maybe arm. I think she got a little lucky on that it wasn't full shoulder, so.
But we've said it so many times during this game, the aggression and how aggressive both these teams are just.
And I think that speaks to first game of conference play, right? You know that there's opportunity to be had with a strong showing within the conference.
Sure, and again, all you need to do is look at the sidelines for me. I mean, this is the style of both coaches. I would not expect anything else from either one of them. And you have a lot of 6'3" and 5'16" kids out there. You know, that's the way we play.
Tracy coaches locally at Farmingdale High School. Powerhouse program over the years.
Correct. It's a new year.
I feel like you and I have that conversation in February or March every single year. I hear the same thing from you. We're down, and then what happens? You're in the county finals again.
This is a play where, now again, we were talking about where Hofstra's working the ball. This one, they do dump into the middle of the 8, and the swarm is late arriving, so now we get an 8-meter. And if you're playing percentages, the amount of 8 meters that Hofstra has gained today is unbelievable, but they haven't been able to finish.
Well, now they do. Shapiro sends it to the back of the net, and Hofstra's back on top by a score 2-1.
See that? Miss Shapiro makes me look like a genius. I have to thank her when the game is over.
The opposite of a jinx, I want to say.
That's correct.
So Drew Shapiro nets her 14th goal of the season. CAA preseason honorable mention. Finally capitalizes for Hofstra off the 8-meter.
And that was close. It went stick side, but I think that, you know, Cibalone was looking for it to go opposite and just a little late reading it.
And when you have such high goal scorers like Alyssa Perella and Alexa Montero, it's kind of easy to forget what Drew Shapiro does bring to this bride and also to the offense. But goals like that just show that she is outstanding leader for this offensive pride.
Without a doubt, you know, and goal scoring is an art. And the attackers take pride in it. You know, it's interesting. I was looking before at the roster just to see Hofstra, and when you look at their roster, it's only 1, 2, 3, 4 starting seniors. You know, she's going to have a majority of this team back next year, and playing her style, understanding what Coach Smith, we're talking about what she's looking for. And when you can say out of the 12 girls on the field, 8 of them will be returning, you know, the future is always bright when you can say that as a coach.
And she's been waiting to say that for a little bit
She
now.
has.
This is the first group of players which are fully recruited
Correct.
by Shannon Smith's staff.
Okay, so, you know, the other day when it was a snowstorm, I'm going to tell you, I ran into Coach Smith in the supermarket because we live near each other. And we had a nice long talk about this.
Care to share any insight? Here's a shot on the run. It's Cammie Lynch, a bounce on a catch and shoot. She scores. We're tied at 2.
It's a nice play by Lynch as she comes across, so she's opposite the ball carrier, comes across into the middle, has her stick up high. She's the only one that can catch it up there. And again, there's no hesitation on that. When Lynch catches the ball, the next thing she gets off is a shot as she's going, when you're looking at the cage, you know, right to left. So here she comes driving through, downfield, bounces it right by. But keeps her stick in that shooting position. That's the key for an attacker. Always make sure that you keep your stick in a protected, but that you can shoot.
So for the 2 Hofstra goals, Elon has answered relatively quickly within a response. Knotted up at 2 as we're inside 10 minutes to go in the first half.
But even still, as a coach, if you told me that 20 minutes into the game you would have given up only 2 goals, I'll sign up for that any day.
Alexa Matera controls the draw. Yeah, especially for 2 sort of defensive-minded coaches, as these 2 head coaches are.
You think Coach Smith is defensive-minded?
Oh,
She's one of the
makes
leading
sense.
goal scorers in the United States. She holds every high school record, towards
Sure.
on when.
Allow me to correct myself.
I'm just
Sort of the physical mindset.
She is very aggressive.
Yes.
On both ends. That I will say for sure. Bringing Shannon Brady on board was huge, and even, Constantino. Those are two defensive-minded kids, and understand what it takes to win at the highest level, as does Coach Smith.
In addition to that, when we were talking with Coach Smith earlier this week, and she talked about some of the growing pains and how this team has grown up a lot during the course of the season, one of the things she sort of honed in on was the defense in front of Maddie Fields, and those players being able to communicate, hold each other accountable, and play as a more cohesive unit in front of their goalie. While Elon trying to take their first lead of the day, some nice individual effort and a goal. Leah Zajura beats Maddie Fields to take a 3-2 lead for Elon.
The key to that was that Jura realized that she had a one-on-one but no defensive help coming. So if you're an attacker and you know that you have a 1v1 with no defensive slide coming to help, right here she realizes that there's no help on the to her left side. Again, I'm talking as we're facing the cage. So they're pushing her out of the middle, but when you push as a defender outside of the middle and there's no slide help, as an attacker, you can be crafty enough to figure that out.
Gotta correct myself. It was Kelsey Dupere on the goal, 34, not 14. So Dupere, who's been in the attacking area of the field the last couple games, stepping in, partly in response to the injury to Sinacor. She has played very well the last few games for Elon.
Sometimes, you get that opportunity and you run with it, and, you just never know when it's circumstance dictates that somebody else has to play that you weren't anticipating, and sometimes it just works out for the better.
We get ready for the draw control.
I can't tell you how many times as a coach I've watched one of my players at practice, and they're completely different on game day. I'm like, where is this coming from?
Oh, yeah.
Dupere starting 14 games last year, only has played in 3, now 4 on this season. A draw controlled by Stephanie Asher. She's been quiet so far today. You gotta account for her.
There was a little misstep by Matera that allowed Asher to kind of take it down there.
There's Asher trying to make things happen 1v1. Asher looked to the crease, cutter for Elon, shot saved by Fields, and Elon's there for the loose ball, scooped up by the Phoenix. That's Cami Lynch.
It's a big save by Fields right there to get a little confidence back after giving up those 2 quick goals before, which really none of them were her fault. Just the 1v1s. But still, as a goalie, sometimes that can play tricks on your mind.
Dodging again is Lynch. Here's Maeve Crowley on the move for Elon. 7.5 minutes remaining in the first half. 3-2, Elon leading. Cami Lynch, a shot just going high of the crossbar.
I like this game because it's fast-paced. There's not a lot of calls going, not a lot of fouling, just good, aggressive, clean lacrosse the way it was supposed to be played.
And a lot of back and forth play. We're not just seeing it all in one zone. It's kind of going back and forth. Whoever gets the possession is really fighting for each goal.
Asher to the crease, Quinn Daly beating Fields, and Elon has scored 3 straight goals to take a 4-2 advantage.
On that play, Asher draws the attention of the defense, and when that happens, the backdoor cut just beats the defense as they are really concentrating on Asher and all that she's bringing, and all of a sudden keeping her eyes open, and there's the cut. Gets it done. And you have to bury those, and that's something, again, Hofstra's had the same opportunities, but they have not just buried those shots.
So Elon has scored 3 goals in a matter of less than 3 minutes. Stephanie Asher has assisted on 2 of those. So we said she was quiet. She hasn't been scoring, but she has been acting as a feeder. Only 2 assists coming into this game. She's got 2 today.
Well, she's going to draw the best defender that Hofstra has. So again, it's imperative that her mates expose those other matchups if they can, and they hadn't been able to up until the first 23 minutes. Hofstra, when you play that aggressive defense, you can run into sometimes, trying to catch yourself. Maybe there's a little lag of concentration. If they can clean that up and play defense like that for 60 minutes instead of 23 minutes each half, that's going to make them even more dangerous as they move forward.
I mean, the first 15 minutes of this game, the Hofstra Pride defense.
Unbelievable.
Yes.
But now Elon's come alive. They've found some of the weaknesses in that area as Asher dives to the turf. And it will be a whistle against Hofstra. I should say sent to the turf. And Elon, really, I think for the first time we're seeing from either team, is kind of letting a little air out of the ball, slowing things down offensively here.
Well, now they want to put a little distance. So at 4-2, the next goal is extremely important. You know, to be up by 3 goals. I know it sounds silly, but the college game, when you're confident in your defense, that's a big gap between, you know, trying to push the ball, turn it over, and then give up a quick one and only be up by 1.
Then, of course, having the momentum of having 3 goals in a row
Correct.
on top of that.
Summer Reese goes to the 8-meter after an obstruction of shooting space. Reese, a sophomore, 8 goals on the season. And the officials are going to place a couple girls in a different spot on that left wing. Reese takes a couple steps in, shoots high, top shelf, scores. Elon has created some breathing room for themselves, leading 5-2 now.
It's a well-placed shot. Again, the way the 8-meter was set up on that, it took the defense a couple of steps even to start to catch in on that. So you see here, going right there down Broadway, no Hofstra defender is able to catch her at that point. And as you can see here, this is going to be a well-placed timeout by Coach Smith.
So Hofstra and Shannon Smith take a timeout. There's been 4 consecutive goals scored by the Elon Phoenix, making a long trip up to Long Island and perhaps a little bit of a slow start. Tracy, what do you think has been the difference in the last 4 minutes for Elon putting this little run together?
Well, just their aggressiveness going to cage and recognizing when the defensive slides are not going to be available to swarm. You see they've gotten out of the middle of the 8-meter and have used the elbows, and that creates the opening in the 8-meter as the girls are cutting.
Not only that, but before the game, I know you talked with Coach John Hofstra, Matt, and they said we changed our offense up a little bit. Nothing drastic, but something that we would definitely see in this game. I think it's definitely working for this Elon Phoenix team.
Well, conference play is now in full swing. Our CAA Men's Game of the Week returns tonight a day early, featuring a rematch of last year's conference tournament semifinals with Drexel visiting Towson. Like Sports Network's coverage gets underway with the Lacrosse Now pregame show at 6:30, followed by face-off at 7 o'clock. CAA Game of the Week only on LSN. Well, of course, right now we're in our Women's CAA Game of the Week, Hofstra and Elon. First conference game of the season for both of those teams, as both coaches felt like their teams were playing some of the best lacrosse they have all season as we begin the conference play. And we talked about this. Elon, the record 1-8, but it was a very deceiving 1-8 record between strength of schedule and the way that they've played, some of the close losses that they had to some of those top teams. So a very dangerous 1-8 team, and they're going to be dangerous regardless of the record as they head further into conference play.
Well, and again, with conference play just starting, that's the key to the whole thing. You know, your record could be whatever. If you're conference champions, you're in the NCAA tournament. So it's not as if you're saying that they started off conference play 0-4 and now they're just trying to come back. They have literally challenged themselves to see what caliber you have to play NCAA teams at, and now they're going to bring that mentality into conference play.
And both of these sides know that. I've talked with Alyssa Perella multiple times before about what CAA play means to her, and the fact of it is that clean slate we were talking about at the beginning of this game, that, you know, it doesn't really matter what you guys did in the non-conference slate, but what you put on the field during this conference play, because that tournament is what everyone is hoping for.
James Madison, Towson, Elon, of course, the NCAA participant last year. Hofstra trying to get to that level, and Elon trying to sustain that level after getting there for the first time last year.
And it's tough all around. You know, you look at the different conferences right now in the NCAA, the ACC is killing each other. They turned out to be much tougher than everybody thought that they were going to be, where to me the Big Ten is not as powerful as it was in the previous years. CAA looking to get to that level, and I mean, you look at the Towsonds of the world, one of the top-ranked teams right now in the country. I saw them play a couple of weeks ago out on Long Island, almost taking down the #1 team. They had them for a brief period of time and let them back in. But Towson's a tough, tough club.
You really can't take any CAA opponent for granted. It doesn't matter what they put on paper or what you're seeing off the score sheet. No matter what, it's a different team when they get out here on the field for almost every single team in this conference.
Yeah, if you're going toe-to-toe with Stony Brook, you're doing something right.
Absolutely.
6:09 to go in the first half. Elon has scored 4 consecutive goals in just about the last 4 minutes to take a 5-2 advantage. Stephanie Asher coming away with her second straight draw. She's pushing the tempo, and then she'll veer back outside.
And this would be tough if Hofstra gives up a goal here. You know, you call it a well-placed timeout. You want to try to stop the scoring run.
Whistle away from the ball. They're trying to count out numbers, and Hofstra was offsides.
They have to move another player.
But you have to be thinking, if you're Shannon Smith, she's already probably thinking of how she's going to rework these draw controls to be able to get a little bit more on their advantage.
Elon back to work. Asher with it. There's Godfrey. To the right side it comes, and obstruction.
Sorry.
No, it's all right. Listen, you're the coach. You see things faster than I do.
Well, all I'm seeing here is Hofstra really saying to his players, get the ball when you see the 1v1. And they're doing the skip passes this time. You know, the adjacents allow the defense to slide. It's when you do the skip pass and you get it to the 1v1 that you're seeing all these calls and success for Elon.
There's a tough shot going wide. Fields was chasing after it, and they give her the victory and the possession. Looked like Asher might have had a step, but she was closest to the point of exit.
That's exactly right. When the ball went over the line, it's who's closest to the point of exit. So that's a great defensive stop right there after a timeout for Hofstra.
It's been a while since the Pride have had any sort of offensive possession. Perella trying to move the ball forward, and Matera goes down. So that'll bring a whistle.
She had a little help going down.
Empty stick check. So Hofstra's having a little trouble getting into the offensive area.
You know, for the Long Island teams also, there's a little extra push to get to the NCAAs, especially the Final Four, since it'll be hosted by Stony Brook University, and I watched Shannon Smith win a national championship on that same field.
Always want to play in your own backyard, if you will, if you can.
So exciting! It'll be a packed house. Nothing better. Final Four weekend.
Line extended up top. Now it comes for Hofstra, surrendering 4 straight goals, trying to battle their way back into this game. Here's Shapiro to the left side for Perella. Perella throws a pass fake. Soft pass towards the crease, knocked down. And we'll have an empty stick check, it looked like, going against Elon.
Absolutely, and if I'm Coach Hofstra, that one's going to bother me, because that was an errant pass and just should have waited to, not be so aggressive as to give the ball right back to Hofstra.
Here's Shapiro straight away. An 8-meter opportunity. Steps in, fires one sidearm past Cipollone. And Hofstra back within 2. It's 5-3.
That's a huge goal. And Shapiro, this is the second time she's done the same thing. The way she keeps the head of her stick, it's almost impossible for the goalie to read where she's going to shoot. Is she going to push it out? Is she going to come across her body? Is she going to go low, or is she going to go high? And so that's why it takes so long for the reaction.
I was going to say, it seemed like the defense just couldn't read what was going to come out of Drew Shapiro's stick there.
You see, she only takes 2 or 3 steps. So when you take a 2-3 step approach and you're able to get a power shot off, that usually is pretty good for an attacker, because the defense doesn't get an opportunity to stick check you or to alter your shot in any way, shape, or form. You're taking the shot that you want to take.
So earlier in this game, we talked about Hofstra not necessarily capitalizing off those 8-meter opportunities they have on the last couple, and it's keeping them in the game now.
Well, that was huge. You make an offensive mistake, basically, it works out in your favor. And sometimes you have to make the other team pay for that, because they'll do it to them. When you get those opportunities, you have to take advantage of them, which they did on that play.
And that's exactly the reason probably Coach Hofstra, as you said, was a little sad about the whole way that went down.
Sure. You don't like to give a team a second chance.
Both coaches making a bit of a change on the draw control circle. Stephanie Thompson took the last draw for Elon with Perella there for Hofstra.
Stephanie has 5 on the season so far, so she does have a little bit of experience, but it's good to see some changes coming from both teams to kind of heighten up both of their offenses, get some more opportunities going.
Now, this is going to be a stick check here that I believe Coach Smith, it's happening right in front of her. She sees the stick, and now the official's going to have to check that out.
When you're a coach and you call for that, is there something that tips you off? Is it just something you see? What are you trying to look for when you ask for a stick check?
Well, I can tell you that I did it in a Long Island championship game, actually, because we were in great position to check the stick, and the ball was not coming out, which led me to believe that the pocket was illegal or something was going on there. The official put the ball in the pocket and turned it upside down, and the ball did not fall out. And right away, that stick was deemed illegal.
Well, not here.
Right.
But J.C. Cooper did have her stick check. She was carrying it face up, obviously, and the ball stayed in there. And I guess that is, per your expertise, that's what led Coach Smith to call for the stick check there.
Well, if you're aggressively stick checking someone and the ball's not coming out, a lot of times you think it's because their pockets are illegal.
Ball came out there, and Hofstra forces a turnover, and then we have a whistle against Elon. Yellow card.
Inadvertent stick check to the head, but it is a stick check to the head nonetheless.
I think that stick check call really helped Hofstra kind of beat the momentum of Elon there as well, forcing them to have this kind of, forcing them to get this opportunity. Now they get the ball, taking it back, try to get another one before the end of this half.
Yeah, I think that was Grace Simpson that got called for the inadvertent stick check to the head, but it's relevant whether you do it like Paul Bunyan or you do it by accident. A stick check to the head is going to get you a yellow card.
Simpson hadn't seen a ton of time so far in this game. And there's a minute 40 remaining on the penalty. As we close in on the 3-minute mark of this first half, a pass towards the crease, knocked down. Hofstra battling for it with Cipollone, and Cipollone will be awarded the possession there. If Katie Whelan, or was it Drew Shapiro, might have stepped in on the crease as she was trying to rake it to herself.
She has to go behind the crease, so that's why they're resetting.
So Elon not only creates a turnover, an opportunity now to wind down the remainder of this penalty with a minute 12 left on it.
But they will have to play man down in the offensive zone. So we'll see if Hofstra allows them to just kind of pass it around and not be too aggressive, or are they going to come out and double team ball?
How do you like to play this?
I do not like to double team ball because for me it takes away the advantage because everybody else is in a 1v1. So I just let them, if I don't need the ball, I let them do what they need to do. But if they try to attack the crease or try to go to goal, then I will send the double.
Right now it's Amanda Seekamp that kind of is that floating safety, if you will.
Correct.
Well, I was going to ask for Hofstra, though, when they're down by 2, even though, they've still got a whole nother half to play, do you try to get that ball back?
No. No, I wouldn't. I'm agreeing with Coach's philosophy on this one. You still have another whole 30 minutes to go, and what you don't want to do is be super aggressive to the point where you create a yellow card against yourselves, or you create just the 1v1s on another part of the field that you don't want to do.
Carly Ancona kept that alive as an opportunity for Hofstra. Picked up off the turf by Elon. Minute 25 to go in this first half, and Elon up 5-3. And it looked like Dupere got tangled up.
And they're going to call they're going to call a false start on that one. So what happens is they have this new rule now where you can quick start, but there's only certain places where that can take place, and you can't. You have to wait for the official sometimes, especially I believe in the attacking zone. I'm not 100% clear on that rule. I'm going to look it up at halftime, but again, so they called her for a false start, but you're supposed to be allowed to quick start. So that rule for me is just a little unclear.
Still needs some ironing out.
I think all the rules need ironing out, though. You know that, Matt. You've watched me coach.
Yeah, especially when you're on the coaching sideline. A little different.
Just a little.
Final minute of play here in the first half.
Buy some stock in yellow cards.
Elon leading Hofstra 5-3, and we have a whistle on the crease. It looks like the Pride will get another 8-meter shot, and it's number 3, Drew Shapiro, going to that 8-meter, and she's already got 2 goals from the free position today.
You see the defender questioning that, and what the official's going to say to her is, you had her. There was no need to swing your stick on that, and that's what they're going to get it for, is a dangerous check. You know, when you have the attacker surrounded, the only way you're going to let her out of that is by swinging your stick.
So Shapiro from the left hash of center. 55 seconds remaining in the first half. Ready's up after the penalty. Moves to her right, and a false start on Shapiro, and that'll turn it back over to Elon.
And that's unfortunate. You know, she knew what she was going to do, so Shapiro tries to jump the whistle. And sometimes, you know, the officials do a quick whistle. Sometimes the whistle gets caught. So difficult to time that.
Final minute of play here in the first half. Elon, a tough clear and a tough ride from Hofstra. They were able to connect, though, and get it to the stick of Maeve Cowley. Cowley got the scoring started for the Phoenix earlier on in this game, and we're going to get a timeout from Elon.
Coach Hofstra is going to try to set up his last minute play, because really what you want to happen here is one of two things. You either want to go in the locker room with your 2-goal lead protected, or you want to hold for last shot and possibly go in up 6-3. What you don't want to do is make a careless play and something silly where you turn the ball over and you allow Hofstra to gain any momentum in the last 30 seconds by bringing the ball up for a fast break goal.
Drew Shapiro's goals have come off of capitalizing off of errors by Elon, so I think it's a terrific timeout by Coach Hofstra to really refocus his team in these last seconds of the first half.
We'll be back with another CAA Women's Game of the Week on Sunday when the defending conference champion James Madison Dukes host Drexel. Coverage gets underway with Lacrosse Now pregame show at 11:30 Sunday morning, only on Lax Sports Network.
We need to talk about the CAA, so you have JMU and Towson in the top 10.
Correct.
JMU's having an unbelievable season. I mean, out of nowhere. And the reason for that is their defense is unreal. It's experience, it's aggressive, it's smart. You know, Rebecca Tooker out of Eastport South Manor is a senior on that defense, and you know she's always played Matt at another gear, and they're just following her lead. And Shelley, the former coach at Hofstra, is the head coach down in JMU, her alma mater, and is doing an unbelievable job this season. And they've been able to sustain it. They gave Maryland all they could handle a couple of weeks ago.
And having teams like that in the CAA only boosts this kind of conference to compete with the Big Ten and the ACC.
Well, what's going to happen now is you're going to have more than one team. You're not just going to have your AQ that gets in out of the CAA, and that's good for everybody when you can have, you know, more than one team considered. The ACC usually gets 6, and everybody else just kind of gets overlooked, and they only get their AQ. So it'd be nice for the CAA to get 2 or 3 teams possibly.
I mean, the Dukes got things started off in the right way in 2018, knocking off UNC double overtime, 15-14, and got a lot of people's attention first week of the season.
UNC is one of those teams that, you know, they haven't clicked on all cylinders yet. Just getting Maggie Bill back on the field, which you know is a huge boost for them. Jamie Ortega's just starting to take over on the offensive zone. They have a nice mixture of youth and experience.
So Elon's got it for what likely will be the last possession of the first half. 35 seconds remaining and a 5-3 lead.
Watch the step over. Keep the feet. Watch the step over.
This is Cowley on a strong dodge. Cowley shooting it just out of the reach of Fields in the lower left corner to beat the Hofstra goalie and double up the Pride at 6-3.
That was the only spot that she could shoot, and she started to wind up, and I thought to myself, boy, oh boy, this shot better be perfect or coach is going to be unhappy with you, and she buries it. And you'll see her setting it up right here. So Cowley starts to come down. Look at her stick position. You know she's going to shoot. There's the only spot that's open, and she nails it.
Second goal of the game for Maeve Cowley, the senior, who had 7 goals coming into the contest.
For me, though, if you're going to be a student of the game, you're a player right now watching a high school player, you have to watch her stick position, the way that she holds her stick. So, I'm sorry, it's what we call the triple threat, where she can protect it, she can shoot it, or she can pass it. to perfection on that particular one because she kept her hands in such a position that she was able to even thread the needle on what should have been, you know, a much more difficult shot.
Freshman year, she attended UMass, went to the NCAA tournament as a member of the Minutemen, then transferred into Elon. So she's been to 2 NCAA tournaments in her first 3 collegiate years. Here's Hofstra with it on the draw control. Aggressive roll dodge from Matera. The ball was dislodged, but they give it to her on the restart. Hofstra moving quickly with 12 seconds left in the half. Here's Matera back at X with just 8 seconds. Tries a little hesitation. Feeds it back behind the cage. Near side it comes for Ancona. Ancona dropped the ball. 1 second. Shovel pass up top. Perello lets it go. It would have been good, but Cipollone able to make the stop as the horn sounds on the first half.
That was a smart play. You know, I didn't think when the pass first came from the back, I thought she was just trying to get rid of it at that point. I did not think at that point that it was going to be as accurate a pass as it was.
But Perella is fast. She can cut deep very, very fast, and you never know what she's going to do. So that save was crucial for Elon to go back into the locker room up 3 goals still.
Our score here from Hofstra, Elon leading the Pride 6-3. Tracy, Meg, and I will be back with the second half in just a few minutes.
This is a great matchup for both of these teams, and I kind of feel like whichever team wins this game is going to go on a little bit of a run moving forward.
And Hofstra has been on a run as well, coming off of their non-conference slate games. I mean, that New Hampshire game only boosted their confidence even more. So going up against Elon is a little different because Elon has something to prove now. Elon, having a tough non-conference slate now, is itching for that win. You can tell they're going a little bit more aggressive. You are seeing a little bit more aggression out of players like Alexa Matera on the Hofstra side, but Elon coming out and wanting this win, I think just a little bit more than the Hofstra Pride, especially after what we saw in that first half.
Well, we'll see what happens at halftime because I know that, you know, Coach Smith is very, very spirited when she speaks to her team at halftime, and hopefully that will translate into a little more aggressive play to start this game because I've seen teams score 3 goals in a minute. So it's not, you know, in any way, shape, or form, this game is far from over.
So 30 minutes on the clock. We get ready for the second half of play. Elon will be attacking the goal to our left and Hofstra the goal to our right. Melissa Birdsell back to the draw control dot for Elon. And Perello there for Hofstra, and it's controlled by Elon and J.C. Cooper, the ground ball.
And surprisingly, people are probably watching that saying, well, the ball didn't really go in the air. How come they didn't redraw? Because it went into open space and it turned into a 50-50 ground ball. So it was an advantage to nobody, even though the ball did not really go up in the air.
So Elon, we saw some good ball movement and perhaps more than anything, well-placed shots at the latter part of that first half.
Absolutely. Makes all the difference.
And this is a team that in their last 2 games, they won their first game of the year against Coastal Carolina, March 18th. Lost to Virginia Tech 14-12, the 16th ranked team in the country at the time. It was a 6-6 game at halftime. They were outscored 8-6 in the second half. And we'll whistle here, that'll stop play momentarily.
Well, Hofstra was offsides.
Second time in the game that Hofstra has been offsides defensively.
We'll see what happens here because so the player has to come back over the line, obviously, but then you also have to take a player and send them behind to give some sort of an advantage. You just can't put everybody back on sides. So I don't really understand that because what's the advantage then to being offsides?
And if we look on the near side, Tracy, you see Elena Shore completely locking off Stephanie Asher.
Well, they have a double lock going on right here. They have a double lock.
So Asher and Kelsey Dupere are getting locked off.
And what they're going to see is can the other 5 beat them?
Here's a shot, tough angle shot going wide and out of bounds, and Asher was closest to it for Elon. And now this is what Asher would loves to have because she's able to start with the ball in her stick.
So this is interesting. Again, it's a cat and mouse game, and you know, Coach Smith has said, listen, I'm going to take your 2 leading goal scorers out of this, and let's see what the other 5 young ladies can do.
So Asher, tough angle shot, missing wide. Elon there, continuing the offensive possession. Here's Curtin on the ground ball. Curtin looking right to the crease. That gets through, scooped up by Asher. Asher will look back to Coach Hofstra in terms of what offense they want to run now. Kelsey Dupere just standing right in front of Exeter. Here's Asher's shot, and again out of bounds. It will be Elon ball.
But they're running out of time on the clock here.
10 seconds remain on the shot clock. Here's Cammie Lynch trying to come out in front. Lynch has an opening. Lynch has the ball checked out of her stick. Ground ball to Seekamp of Hofstra.
So we talk about the cat and mouse game. So you have the 5v5. Asher did get her stick on it several times, but really wasn't a part of that offense. And then you're able to strip the ball on a 1v1. And that's exactly what they're looking for.
Hofstra unable to clear successfully, though. And it's turned back over as Elon's got it. Asher changes stick hands. And Asher looked like she got tapped on the head, and that should be a card. As Alexa Matera a bit too aggressive trying to defend.
You know, and you see Coach Smith a little frustrated on that because she expects her team to be able to clear the ball. They make a great defensive stand here, and all you need to do is clear the ball up safely, and none of what just happened happened.
Seems like no one was really ready to handle that ball when it came across, just trying to go for the clear.
Well, you know, Coach Smith can deal with the physical mistakes. What she can't deal with is the mental ones. Because she's very, very confident in the fact that she mentally prepares her team for a game.
Out on the right side, it's Shannon Horan. CAA all-rookie team a couple seasons ago as a freshman. D'd up by Perella. Asher getting locked off, but she's kind of camping out right on the crease right now. Moves back to X without the ball. They find her trying to cut inside. Tough angle shot is taken away by Hofstra.
That was a tough angle shot, and that's a great play when you're man down. And now Hofstra has the opportunity that Elon had earlier in the game to run out this penalty.
Shannon Boyle on the interception. A freshman out of Huntington, New York. Played at St. Anthony's High School. And we'll have a whistle and a card coming up on Elon, so that'll even things up for minute 16 before Hofstra goes on an advantage for 44 seconds.
Asher gets the card on this one, and people are going to wonder why. It wasn't a check to the head, but you'll see here what it is not going for the ball at all. It was an obvious attempt to just stop the fast break. It was not. It wasn't a check attempt. It wasn't trying to get the ball. It wasn't running hip to hip. You know, she had no defensive position on that, did Asher, and all she had left to do was an aggressive push. And that's a point of emphasis from the officials this year.
It'll be interesting to see how Hofstra, if they can clear it, how they'll be able to capitalize on something like this.
Well, now it's 6v6, or it should be, you know, everybody's playing the same number right now. There's only going to be a difference of about 45 seconds if they hold on to it to go man up.
Up top, it comes for Ancona. Ancona looking to the crease. Good ball movement by the Pride right now, and that sets up what will be a free position shot for an obstruction call.
When you have a 6v6 like they have right now, it opens up a lot of space, and a lot more green space is to Hofstra's advantage. You have wide open on the doorstep. Nope, not anymore.
There's the sophomore, Mary Kate Garrity, readying herself. Cipollone in goal has played incredibly well for Elon today. Garrity looked right on the crease again. Good movement by Hofstra and a save made by Cipollone. Rebound to the Pride. Back up top for Perella. Perella looking on the doorstep again. Backhanded shot going wide from Shapiro. We'll have an empty stick check on Elon. And Hofstra will have it on a restart.
What Hofstra really wants to do here is score before they're man up so that they can, you know, get a goal and then still be man up. And they called Hofstra for an illegal start. And you can see Coach Smith is trying to understand what the call was on that, and she's not happy about it at all. To do some research on that, Matt, and try to understand that call a little better myself.
Where, for you, where is the uncertainty or where is the lack of clarity?
Well, if you're allowed to fast start, then you should be allowed to fast start. And I'm not sure if it's just between the 30s or do you have to wait for them to settle when they're in the attacking zone, but I thought that a fast start is a fast start.
Yeah, because if you have to wait for the defense to settle in the attacking zone, it negates the reason for the fast start.
Absolutely.
We'll restart here with Bridget Lamb, the senior out of Mountain Lakes, New Jersey. Tremendous high school program, public school program on both the guys and girls side.
Yes. Lindsay Monday's sister is the USC coach. It's her sister that coaches the Mountain Lakes team.
So some tremendous coaching pedigree.
Absolutely. They're a fun group to watch. I've done many a game of theirs.
Looks like Hofstra was offsides again.
Well, they're man down now.
Here's Cooper dodging hard. Now Cowley. Cowley with a pair so far today. Has a step, lost the ball out of her stick, but a whistle is blown.
Everybody's even now. Actually, Hofstra was man up on that. And again, you're going to ask, she went to take the shot. Why does she get the ball back? When the flag is up and you go to shoot, it should be put away. But if the check or the foul affects the shot, then you get to take your 8-meter.
So Maeve Cowley with a pair so far today. Cowley a couple paces and beats Fields on the shot.
I think it's really these mental errors that are getting to Hofstra. And I think right now Elon is focused solely on this game. They're really able to capitalize off of what they are trying to do with this offense. Just overall, I think, before the game, Matt, you did talk to Coach Hofstra that said, we are focusing on the right things, not the wrong stuff anymore. Outcome rather than process. They do love the air of competition. I think this is exactly what Hofstra is giving them.
Well, I also think that Cowley is turning into a matchup problem for them. They have done their research. They're looking at the top scorers in Dupre and Asher, trying to take them out of the game. And again, for me, it's all about who's going to step up when your leading scorers come out, and can they expose their matchup. And so far for both teams, Cowley is the one that seems to have figured out that she's going to kind of take over the offense.
And it seems for Elon, they're finding those complementary pieces. Last week it was Stephanie Thompson had 2 goals, had 2 career goals coming into that game. And Coach Hofstra said the way that their defense played zone, he thought that she could be a matchup issue. And so it is a matter of finding the girls that are going to step up when Asher's getting locked off, when Dupre is getting locked off, who can put in those goals for Elon.
Right, and it's confidence builders for, your number 3, 4, and 5 scorers.
So Hofstra taking the draw down, 7-3. Elon the good start. And their only win of the season came March 18th, a 14-6 victory over Coastal Carolina. Trying to make it second win in 3 weeks, but more importantly, 1-0 in the CAA slate.
And that's all they're going to focus on at this point.
High pass gets away, and that's going to be a turnover. And Shannon Smith throws her hands to her hips in frustration.
She's such a competitor, and it's so frustrating when, you draw everything up and it just doesn't work out for an unforced error type of reason. And she knows that these plays are going to work, and she knows that, if they make those connections, that it's going to end up in something positive happening. And they probably ran that play 1,000,000 times in practice, if I know Coach Smith.
Here's a cutter from up top. And Haran, a shot, save Fields. Hofstra's got it.
You never want to take away an attacker's aggressiveness, but for Haran, that's a bad angle shot for her to take. With defense covering her and whatnot. And if I'm Coach Hofstra, let's work some of the, you have 90 seconds. Let's wait for that perfect shot so we can just keep building on our lead. What you don't want to do is change the momentum of this game because you take a shot after your defense has made a lucky play with Hofstra's turnover. You really want to capitalize on that and make them pay for it.
We've talked about it at times today, Elon, and the idea of getting back to, having fun playing lacrosse, taking some of that self-imposed pressure off themselves, as we have a whistle here. You coach a program that perennially has high expectations,
yes,
especially with groups of seniors or upperclassmen that are very driven. How do you manage to balance that, or how have you managed to balance that in the past?
It's all about the team building and the team bonding. There's no question about it. And it starts with the top. The coaching staff all has to be on the same page. They have to be enjoying practice every day. We have to be enjoying the games. And you have to let the girls know that, this is fun.
Here's Perella off an 8-meter shot, goes 5-hole and scores. So 3 of Hofstra's 4 goals today have come off the free position. And Elon leads 7-4 now.
Hofstra needs to find a way to get the ball in Perella's stick more. When Perella has the ball, good things happen to Hofstra. And, she is their go-to. And I know that she's young and it's a big responsibility on her. But believe it or not, she, in my opinion, is their team leader. How she flows, how she plays is how this team goes.
She said before to me, especially after practices and such, that the team does look on her as an offensive leader for this entire team. Even though she is only a sophomore, I even asked her one time, I said, as an underclassman, you're kind of stepping into the role of an upperclassman because of what you show on the field. And she takes that privilege very, very highly. And she's out there to kind of, motivate her team. When you are giving Perella the ball and you are letting her do her thing, she's going to put it in the back of the net eventually.
And at some point, not everybody is a natural leader. Some girls just enjoy the process of following the leader. And so when you find that one player, no matter how old they are, I remember, years ago, Shannon Smith didn't wait till she was a senior to step up at Northwestern. Taylor Cummings didn't wait till she was a senior to step up at Maryland. Marie McCool, and whatnot over at UNC. You need to know that if you're ready, you're ready. It doesn't matter how old you are or what year you're in. It's the hardest lesson to teach a female.
Is there any amount of coaching that can get an athlete to that point? Here's Hofstra looking on the doorstep. I get a little chuckle.
Because I have two thoughts about it. You either have it inside you or you don't. But if a coach recognizes that you have that inside of you, they need to make sure that the player needs to make sure that you as the coach understand it's okay, that you do what you got to do. I'm behind you 100%.
Here's a freshman, Katie Whelan, from the 8-meter. One step in, rings it off the post. Big Karam on the rebound all the way up top, takes a funky bounce, and Elon's got it off the bounce.
You want to talk about a big ring? Holy cow. That ball bounced almost 30 yards off the pipe. Came almost to the restraining line.
That arch was beautiful.
Here's Elon tracking after the ground ball, raked out towards the top of the box. And it is the Phoenix that have it in Abby Godfrey.
That was a nice play. It looked like a field hockey game broke out there for a second.
Yeah, Maeve Cowley going back on perhaps some field hockey past.
But going back to what you were saying, Matt, as a coach, a parent will always ask me, can you get my daughter to go to goal? Can you get her to do this? No, I can't. But if I recognize that she is the type of player that will do that, I'm going to make sure that she knows that if she can score 7 goals in a game, I'm going to encourage her to do that. She may score 5, but if I thought she could have 7, I'm going to let her know that she missed 2 opportunities.
So with Hofstra locking off the 2 top attackers for Elon, Coach Joss Hexter happy to go along with that as they're essentially standing adjacent to the Elon bench on the near sideline. Look to the cutter from the right side. Haran funneled back out. Now she moves back inside again. She feeds back at X. A tough pass, and that went out of bounds. It'll be Hofstra ball.
And we'll see how long, Coach Hexter, you have the 2 players that are being locked off together. They can work together to get free, set some picks, do some backdoor cuts, things of that nature, instead of just pulling them out completely. If Hofstra scores another goal or 2, he might have to rethink pulling them out of the attack.
We've played nearly 10 minutes in the second half, 3-goal game, with Elon leading Hofstra 7-4. Pride get it into the offensive area. Behind the cage at X, it comes. Here's Ariana Esposito, freshman out of Miller Place, 2-time All-County performer. It's her first touch of the game. Here's Matera. Matera, a little trouble handling the ball. Ground ball scooped up cleanly by Esposito. And we talked about the youth for Hofstra. So many underclassmen in prominent roles.
Completely. And, that bodes well for the future and the present. But when you're a coach and you know that you have 8 of your 12 starters returning, you can get a lot, it's tough because...
There's a quick stick right on the crease. Matera puts it in with a left-handed shot, and Hofstra's within 2.
And that was beautifully played, and that's what we're talking about. You see plays like that, you see the girls starting to get that connection, and you know that you're going to have that connection for years to come. As a coach, that has to be such a great feeling. But then the flip side of that is you're going to see the unforced errors in plays like that. But, the beauty of this play is it's not just a goal, but look, right, she doesn't even have to move her stick. That ball is fed exactly where it needed to be. I love watching celebrations like that, and it's just one of those things where, again, as they get more comfortable with each other, you're going to see plays like that happen more often.
And Alyssa Perella and Alexa Matera are the duo of this team. You see them work in tandem so much, and you have throughout this entire non-conference slate, but seeing an amazing patience level out of Alyssa Perella there, you know, being able to feed it over to Alexa Matera really shows that not only is she a leader when it comes to just being the person to get in the back of the net, but also to be watching out to see who has the greatest opportunity to be able to bury it.
Well, like we said, when the ball's in Perella's stick, good things happen for Hofstra.
She's factored into the last 2 Hofstra goals, a goal a moment ago, an assist on the last goal. And the draw shot back towards the Elon offensive side of the field, and it's controlled by Asher on a ground ball.
Coach Hofstra did say that they had to watch out for a player like Perella, that it is easy for her to be able to score 5 goals in a matter of time. So, you know, it's going to be up to what this Elon defense does to even try to stop her when it comes to the later half of this half.
Asher with a game-high 5, draws controlled, lowers the angle on the shot, and you cannot place that thing any better than Stephanie Asher just did.
And I love the fact that Asher has been waiting for about 11 minutes to get the ball on her stick as she's been face guarded. And the first time she got it, she was not giving it up. That shot was filthy.
Upper left corner, first goal of the game for Stephanie Asher, who's got 160, now 6 career goals. Leads all CAA active players.
That was a great stutter step to get herself free. You know, looked like she was going to go to goal, looked like she was trying to get to the inside crease roll, and instead pulls back and fires that rocket.
Well, a short-lived spurt for Hofstra as Elon back on top by 3.
And it's really how you react to after that crash of momentum there to see how Hofstra tries to get it back in their favor.
Yeah, that has to be deflating, though. You know, here you are 7-5, and you're thinking, okay, you know, we're right there, and
Within 2.
still plenty of time, though.
Stephanie Thompson to the draw control circle for Elon. Perella there for Hofstra, and we're going to have a redraw. Ball fell out of the 2 pockets before the whistle was blown.
Field looks great at Hofstra, by the way.
Yeah, the way they redid it with the blue outline.
Love it.
In addition to that, I mean, we were expecting some tumultuous weather today, and the game got moved up on account of that. It's a gorgeous day.
Absolutely
A little
beautiful.
cold, but we had some sun. Compared to normal
I was gonna say,
Stewart Stadium conditions, this isn't even that windy.
nobody's even wearing Under Armour today.
On your back, on your back.
Hofstra wins this draw. It's been a good, competitive, mostly back and forth contest in the first CAA game of the season between Hofstra and Elon.
2-4-1.
And now the days of running clock out are over, and that's a beautiful thing as well. That's the best part about the shot clock, is you really have to play for the full 60 minutes.
I think that makes it a more fan-friendly game, a more enjoyable game to watch, because there's not going to be a 10-minute stall out, you know, at the end of a game with somebody trying to protect a lead.
You know, and from a coaching perspective, you know, keeps you sharp for the whole time. I missed the stall, I'm not going to lie. I think there's a lot of strategy in that as well, but it from a fan standpoint, it's very, very unfriendly.
Here's Hofstra going back to work. 12 minutes into the second half. Perella, tough angle shot. Somehow she snuck that by Cipollone, and she's got 2 goals in the half. Hofstra back within 2.
Well, Perella's just decided that, you know, Hofstra's not going to lose. Just give me the ball and everybody get out of my way. She was dangerously close to backing in and getting a charge, and instead, because the defense is in her way, she uses her as a screen, and Cipollone cannot see that shot. Right here, you see Perella backing in, and you know, had she made a little more contact with that, she could have got called. As soon as you turn your back right here, but she gets the shot off rather quickly.
I think it's that quickness that really is her advantage when it comes to that, being able to see it, shoot it, buried in the net.
You know, there were 2 girls that we talked about coming into this game as the girls to watch, and it's Perella and Asher because of their goal-scoring ability. And in this second half, both of them have taken a little bit more onus on their shoulders. Asher has shot the ball 6 times on the game. Perella 8 shots on the afternoon.
if I'm Hofstra, I'm going to continue to get the ball to Perella's stick.
Thompson and Perella at the draw control circle. This one controlled by Elon.
Matera just missed coming away with that and starting a fast break going right down the field.
She was a little too quick getting and cutting inside the circle.
Yeah, I think she was anticipating just getting it and going.
Instead, it's J.C. Cooper with the ground ball. Played in 19 games last year, 15 goals. Just a goal and an assist this season because of injury. She's only played in 3 contests. And there's been a bit of a strategic change. Asher and Dupere not just hanging out by the sideline now. Now they're kind of working off ball, trying to get open. Ball deflected. Well, they say it's a shot, so it goes out of bounds. I thought Fields got a piece of that on a pass.
Well, either way, Hofstra beat it to the end line, and that's why the ball was a turnover. The Hofstra defender, great hustle there.
2-goal game as Elon leads Hofstra on the road 8-6.
Hofstra scores here, and that's a play that's not going to go down. Boyle hustles to get to the end line there to get the ball back for them. And those are the types of plays that make or break a team.
Talked about the weather. Sun has come back out from behind the clouds. It's a gorgeous looking day on the field here at Hofstra. Approaching the midway point of the second half. There's Matera, hard move to the cage. Matera sandwiched as the ball knocked loose, but a whistle. And Matera's going to go to the 8-meter line.
And that's a tough 50-50 call. Obviously Elon wants a charge and Hofstra wants a block.
So Alex Matera, who scored in 8 straight games, including today, straight away on the free position. Trying to get this to a 1-goal game for Hofstra. Lost the ball as she shot it. Ball's loose in front. And a battle still rages on for the possession. And it looked like Hofstra is going to give the ball to Elon on a loose ball push.
Once possession is gained, that's when the officials really then look to blow the whistle. When they're really, they're in the scrum part of it, going for the 50-50 ground balls, they're going to wait and see who comes up with it.
So good defense showed by Elon on the 8-meter opportunity. And now they move the other way. So Jura will dump it off and she'll head back to the defensive side of the field. Cowley trying to get open. She was D'd up by Perella. Maeve Cowley has had a phenomenal day so far for Elon. Cowley with 3 goals on 4 shots.
But now you see she's drawn Perella on the defensive end. So and we really haven't said her name since she scored that first goal in the second half.
Asher is D'd up by Elena Shore. Asher cutting inside. Asher, tough move to cage. Fields makes the stop. And no rebound to be had. She clamped down on it.
Fields coming up when she needed to. I mean, this is something that is going to give this team more confidence going up and trying to make it the clear.
She just went stick to stick on that, and Asher, probably should have pulled it and went for the bounce shot the same way that Perella did. Again, Fields does exactly what she's supposed to do and just stick to stick.
It's a goalie coming out, cutting any of an angle, and almost forcing the decision to be made. Lead pass ahead, picked up by Ancona. Ancona 1v1 with the goalie, bounces it past Cipollone, and we've got a 1-goal game. Elon leads just 8-7 now.
So what's happening now is the exact opposite of what we saw in the first half, where Elon was capitalizing on every single one of Hofstra's non-goals or shot selection plays that end up coming the other way, and now Hofstra's taking advantage of that themselves. And this is just a broken play, and that's just great hustle by Ancona, and then it's just a one on nobody.
And that was so close to not being something for Hofstra there. You saw the ball bounce once, twice off the tip of her stick. She was able to control it and really bring that shot down. It seemed like the goalie just had no opportunity to kind of stop what Carly was given.
And when you look at the chess match on this, what we're seeing is Shannon Smith makes her move, goes to the double lock. Coach Hexter is going to have to do something to free up his players.
And I said this also before halftime, but I said, it's going to be interesting to see what Coach Shannon Smith says to her players in that locker room before coming out, to see how they're going to not only motivate, but also change up to just get some goals to keep up with this Elon team right now.
So the lock-off strategically has worked. Hofstra has been a bit more high percentage with their shots as well. On Cage, where some of them were going off in the past, so Jura gets the ground ball and sent to the turf. It'll be Elon possession. Just past the midway point of the second half, 1-goal game. Asher tripped up by Shapiro.
It's a nice aggressive play. Asher finally gets the ball, and Kona's going to make her know that, there's no way that, that's my job to make sure you don't get the ball, so.
Asher only 1 goal today, but tied for the team high with points. 3 points on the afternoon with Cowley. All 3 of Cowley's are goals. And no surprise, Alyssa Perella leading the way for Hofstra, 2 goals and an assist. Came into the contest with 45 points on the year. And we'll have a timeout taken.
And this is where we see the adjustment. So for me, I'm curious to see what Coach Hexter comes up with to kind of figure out what he's going to do against the double team, the double lock, excuse me, because this is a critical point in this game.
Lac Sports Network is your home for CAA Lacrosse every Tuesday night at 8:30 Eastern. Watch CAA Press Pass, an in-depth look at all things CAA Lacrosse, including highlights and interviews with the conference's top players and coaches. CAA Press Pass every Tuesday at 8:30, only on Lac Sports Network. As we've talked about, the women's side of the conference is so deep and breaking into the national rankings. On the men's side, we'll see the defending CAA champs later tonight in Towson. They're coming off a tough loss here at Hofstra a week ago. So the men's side of things has had an interesting balance where you thought it would be Towson and Hofstra, and they have had their stumbles at times this year. The women's side of things just as interesting, where you have the top 2 teams in Towson and James Madison, and Elon, despite the non-conference, trying to fight their way into that conversation.
Again, when your conference play starts, you know that now every game matters. And you bring a different intensity and you bring a different mentality to the game. So when you watch what's going on here today, you see an Elon team who came out real strong, figured it out what they were going to do, and then Hofstra at halftime said, wait a minute, we're on our home field. We need to make sure that Elon realizes there's another team on the field today, and the adjustments that they made have worked to perfection. And it's interesting to see here now what Elon's going to do.
Every game counts, and every game counts in this conference, no matter who you're going up against, whether it be Elon, whether it be Hofstra, whether it be the top teams in Towson and JMU. Every game counts for each side of this conference.
Dupere with the ball to her stick, and Dupere is going to get an opportunity here off the obstruction.
And she made a strong move to the cage, and what happened was the defenders fell, so when she re-attacked and they stood up, they got immediate obstruction of shooting space.
Off the left hash, not the easiest angle. Dupere with a goal today on 2 shots. Quick stick in front, saved by Fields. Ball's still loose as it comes outside the 12-meter arc.
That's a great save by Fields, and that's what Hofstra is. We talked about making the saves that you're supposed to, and every once in a while to keep your team in a game, you make a save that should have been a slam dunk goal, and right there Fields just did that.
And as soon as this save was over, Maddie Fields then directing everyone else. You can sense the leadership in her as well, and just communicating with the defense, making sure that it stays strong now that Elon still has the ball.
Both goalies now with 8 saves on the day, Cipollone and Fields. Cut across on a face dodge. Fields going down low, making a save across her body. And Hofstra will begin to outlet. Ahead it comes for Perella. She's been the woman to make things happen for Hofstra in this second half. 3 points today. Perella looking right on the crease, trying to find Shapiro. Shapiro bumped off the ball. Play continues, and Elon's got it off the loose ball.
That was a tough play right there, and Shapiro paid the price for that, and there was no foul on that. That was the right call. It was just a pass into traffic.
A little behind her as well. Here's Asher. Just about 12 minutes remain in this one. 1-goal contest. Elon leading 8-7. They led 7-3 at one point. That was their largest lead today.
Well, Hofstra's definitely won the battle of the second half so far, but you know, you use a lot of energy to scratch and claw and to get back into the game, but you just never, you know, get over that hill. That's where Hofstra's at the moment.
It's going to come down to the response.
There's a shot from behind the cage, essentially put in by Mary Curtin, it looked like, the freshman.
I mean, that's a bad angle. You can't really blame anybody on that. I mean, that's one of those shots that you see the team's all fired up from that because everybody realizes, you know, what a tough shot that was, and it was just perfectly placed. Lefty coming around, and then not even barely goal line extended. Just put it behind the, you know, feels as where she's supposed to be, but wow, that's just a tough shot.
And for your first collegiate goal, that's a pretty good one.
I would say so.
It shows they're not out of this yet. Neither team is out of this yet. Neither team is really giving up. They're taking shots from every sort of angle. I feel like we've had a number of conversations of, you know, that shot could not have gone in any more perfectly. But it's really going to come down to, you know, whose defense can really stack up and create the stamina needed to finish this game strong.
Mary Curtin out of Chester, New Jersey. So the closest that she'll play to a game in front of her home fans, because Drexel and Delaware, those two conference opponents, are at home. So the closest she'll see her home fans this season, and a player down for Elon.
It looks like J.C. Cooper off the draw here. Cooper's just trying to get to it, and right there, everybody just kind of gets tangled up, and she just hits the turf hard. Again, you know, you're playing against Perella. It's not going to be, she's going to be aggressive from jump. I think she just got the wind knocked out of her. She's just trying to...
J.C. Cooper, though, with a history of injury, she only played 3 games in 2016 because of that. So it is a little scary when a player who has this kind of history goes down. You never know what to expect, but it seems like they're treating her out there as she stays down.
She's just trying to catch her wind again. I think it's the way that she fell, just knocked the wind right out of her.
So she gets that and will walk off on her own.
And you see her just trying to say, okay, I got this one step at a time.
And that's the thing with this Hofstra team. They're not just going to take the shots. They're going to fight for every shot. Doesn't matter where you are on the field. They're going to try to get that ball back any means possible, and including being as aggressive as they have been today.
Well, you know, now you're getting into the final 10 minutes as well, and you don't want to go down 3-4 goals in the last 10 minutes because you've just used so much energy to catch up in this game.
Big 2 for Elon right now. Asher's got it in her stick. Dupere trying to fight her way open. Asher slowly walking back over to Josh Exter, her head coach. Had a brief chat with him from the sideline. Here's Elon trying to move quickly now. Godfrey out of Cowley straight away. Cowley's got a hat trick today and leading scorer for Elon. Godfrey again, good positional defense. Pass intended for Curtin goes out of bounds.
Unforced errors, they're going to get you every time, especially in the last 10 minutes of a tight game.
So Elon trying to hold tight to a 9-7 advantage. Gave themselves a slim bit of breathing room after the goal a moment ago by the freshman Curtin.
out.
We're still here. Hofstra will have it on a restart.
Alyssa, get up top. Alexa, up top. Get higher,
Hofstra doesn't need to rush right now. They still have 10 minutes. It's only a 2-goal game.
Jenna Budd, high pass, corralled, and kept alive. Now to the stick of Perella. She tried to move without the ball, able to regain control.
Let's go. Quicker.
Near side for Garrity.
Right. Alexa in front.
Now it's Perella at X. We've seen Perella be dangerous as a dodger from X today. Here she goes again. Perella with a tough shot, wide. Out of bounds it goes. Elon closest to it, whether it be Cipollone or Zajura backing up.
Yeah, Perella's coming off the field. She took such a shot on that one. She knew it as soon as she...
That's happened before with Perla as well. She actually sat out a couple games in a row. You can tell she's definitely in a little bit of pain down there.
Yeah,
No question.
She goes down to the turf as soon as she got to the sideline. And missed some time last year with injury as well.
It's tough being, you know, the type of midfielder that she is. She is one tough kid, and she wants to get back out there immediately, and you know this is killing her right now.
Abby Godfrey coming to the top of the restraining area. 9 minutes to go in this one. Elon looking for their second win of the season and to start out conference play 1-0.
And that's
trying to extend their winning streak to 4.
That's a huge blow for Hofstra if Alyssa remains on the sidelines in terms of morale, but also offensive power. The defense is going to have to come up twice as much against Elon's offense to try just to stop as much as what Alyssa would have produced maybe on the offensive side.
Sure, it's going to come down to, you know, Shapiro and Kona need to step up.
There's Lynch shot, skying high. A well-timed check as she let that fly.
And they can't be without Perella for an extended period of time, that's for sure. She is the heart and soul of this team.
There's Cowley on a roll dodge. Cowley going right to goal, and Fields denies her.
That's another great save. Fields has had an unbelievable second half, considering, you know, the first half, you know, not that she struggled at all, because I do think that she's playing well, but she just seems to be seeing the ball a little better this half.
Up to 10 saves. Second game in a row that she has had 10 saves. Right now on the wrong end of things from her perspective, though.
She's giving her team an opportunity, though.
So who might take the mantle with Perella on the sideline at the moment?
Echo it, echo it. Higher, Ariana, higher.
Esposito. Whistle in front prior to the shot.
Obstruction of shooting space. So that's going to be an 8-meter for Hofstra. And it looks like it's going to be Jenna Budd that gets to take that shot.
The last time Perella was out when it came to full-length games, you saw Matera step up, Katie Whelan, and that's when we saw really the beginning of Katie Whelan's offensive power. So with Jenna Budd up here now, it'll be interesting to see what they can handle and give out with this opportunity.
Well, you see Perella that they're looking at her, and the problem for me is that they're looking at the knee.
Jenna Budd denied entry as she tried the roll dodge. Ball jarred loose, and Elon's got it. Right now they are palpating her right knee just to kind of see and check in on the structure there.
And that's tough, you know. Again, you just don't want to lose her for an extended period of time because she's just that. She's fun to watch, even from a fan standpoint. You know, this is the type of player that you want to watch play because she brings everything to the field that as a coach or as a player that you enjoy about the game.
And her decision making is spot on, especially when she's deciding whether to feed it off to someone or take the shot herself. It's really rare to see something like that on the field nowadays, with her being able to stop, have the patience, but at the same time have the quickness to be able to decide what to do with the ball.
I think she's going to try to get back in, I hope. Let's see.
She did come off the table to get up and walk around a moment ago.
She's itching to get back in. That's
She
just
sure
her
is.
personality.
She's going to have to run first and show the trainer.
There's Lynch again, going hard towards Cage. Lynch got a shot off and scores.
And again, what we see here, and Perella's seeing it as well, since she's been off the field, they've scored 2 quick goals. And with 6:36 left in this game, it's now a 3-goal advantage. So time is starting to become a factor.
Before the goal was scored, I was going to say there's still time. There's still a little bit of time that, you know, she can take that kind of running down the field to make sure she's warmed up before she gets back in again. But now it's becoming crucial, and she knows it. I think she knows it better than anyone on that squad, that they might need her out there to finish off the second half.
Lynch on that play just, you know, gets around Seacamp, and there was no help there, so she just took it right to the cage.
And Perella right now looks like she's getting taped up.
She's definitely getting wrapped up.
Cami Lynch a moment ago, her 2nd goal today. And just like that, the Elon lead back to 3.
This is a tough call right here, because what you don't want to happen is you don't want to lose Perella for an extended period of time.
So 6:36 to go, and much like the latter stages of the first half, Tracy,
yes,
Elon starting to exert a little will and create some separation between themselves and Hofstra.
Yeah, and it's just tough to keep this pace up for an entire game. It's mentally exhausting, it's physically exhausting, especially when you fall behind, because now it's not just about playing good defense, it's also about creating scoring opportunities, and that's just a physical and mental draw.
Here's Asher, turnaround shot, she scores!
It's the same type of shot that was scored before, and when you watch Asher do that again, I think Fields, as she starts to cut, as soon as she moves off the pipe, and when you think that you're coming around the crease, that's when they stick it.
So Stephanie Asher now with 4 points today, 2 goals, 2 assists, and just tremendous change of direction from one side of goal to the other.
You see Fields comes off the pipe to go stick to stick on that as the defender is beat, and so, you know, Matera's doing everything that she can, but as soon as Fields comes, and you'll see here Matera gets beat, as soon as Fields right there comes off the pipe, that's it. You know, Asher's too inexperienced a goal scorer to not expose that.
And it's getting to the end of this game. There's been a lot of physicality between both of these teams here. It really comes down to keeping up the pressure enough to stop those types of opportunities, especially against a player like Asher, who is just the offensive firepower, whether she's assisting, whether she has the ball in her stick. It really comes down to who's really going to put up enough pressure to stop those kind of shots.
Well, what happens is, from a team standpoint, Hofstra was about to tie this game, and now you look up and you're down by 4. And that's disheartening in itself. But what you have to remember is, look, we scored in bunches, we gave up a few in bunches, now we got to go back to scoring in bunches. But it starts with the draw. They have to win this draw.
Black Sports Network is your home for CAA Lacrosse, and in 2018, that includes the entire CAA tournament. The women's tournament gets underway at James Madison University with the semifinals on Friday, May 4th, and concludes with the championship game on Sunday, May 6th. The only place to see all 3 games is right here on Black Sports Network. Of course, Elon in the CAA championship game last year after a thrilling overtime win in the semifinals over Towson.
I remember that game. That was a great game. I got a chance to watch that game. You know, I know a lot of the girls from Towson University, and heartbreaker for them. But from a fan standpoint, to see a team such as Elon, only around for 4 or 5 years, to get to the CAA championship game, I love the parity in college lacrosse.
They've been pushing fast and pushing hard. And you can definitely tell, even though they are still a young program, the talent they've been able to have, especially in players like Asher, have really made this program what it is today.
And not the only program who's done that. You watch the Florida program came to prominence quickly, and so did USC.
Yeah, is there something you feel like that, more so on the women's side than the men's side, that allows a program to kind of get off to that quick start?
Well, what it was the early college, decision making. So there was a lot of blue chip kids that were left, and kids who develop a little later on. So what happens is those coaches of the new teams are able to pick them up, and people that you did not expect. Because not everybody develops in 8th and 9th grade.
Correct.
So, and this is a penalty right here that as a coach you don't want to see happen. So Haran goes very, very aggressive, and again, you just don't want, when your team is up by 4, to go man down.
Mm-hmm.
Inside 6 minutes to go, and Elon has extended the lead, matching their largest of the game. It's 11-7. Hofstra trying to cut back into that.
And they haven't put Perella back in the game yet. I'm not sure if that's going to happen as bad as she wants to play.
Up top it comes for Ancona. And Hofstra's last goal coming 9 minutes ago at the 14:34 mark to cut it to a 1-goal game. So nearly 10 minutes of scoreless play for Hofstra, and Ancona will go to the 8-meter after an obstruction call.
That was great ball movement by Hofstra. The ball always moves faster than the defense can shift. So if you can move the ball like that on a regular basis, you will always get an obstruction shooting space call.
Here's Ancona with 5:11 left.
Careful, Cole.
And Ancona elects not to shoot.
It's a smart play. Looked around, all you could see was maroon shirts.
Goal line extended up top. Now it comes from Matera. How does the defensive philosophy for Elon change without Perella in the game?
Well, they can breathe a little easier, I'll tell you that. It frees up, you know, a difficult matchup.
Look right on the crease, and Ancona, who passed it off a moment ago on the 8-meter. She's the recipient of a beautiful pass and scores to cut it to 3.
Well, I'll tell you what, if I'm Coach Smith, I'm also asking for the ball off the draw on that. There's a penalty while Ancona's going to goal that happens after she shoots, so that should be possession for Hofstra. And I'm sure she's going to ask for it. It's just a matter of where the officials give it to her. You'll see here, Ancona gets the ball, takes her shot there, and then, well, maybe they're not going to call a foul. We'll see. He's trying to sell it. I like that even better.
Ancona, a senior leader on this team, with someone like Perella out for right now, as she goes back in actually right now. But when she isn't on the field, Ancona really stepped up to the plate. Some of these senior leaders kind of get kind of to the wayside because of offensive firepowers like Alyssa Perella and Alexa Matera that are quite younger, but Carly Ancona really stepping up for this Hofstra Pride team.
Well, we said once Perella went out that it was going to have to be Ancona and Shapiro that steps up. But, you know, I will tell you this, if Ancona can play like that on a regular basis, then that's what she should do. And Perella is back in now, but what you don't want to do is always have the pressure on her.
Mm-hmm.
Draw controlled initially by Hofstra, then Elon picks it up, and it's going to be Elon possession.
Now, you can only run 90 seconds off the clock at this point, so regardless, you know, if Hofstra plays great defense, they're going to get the ball back with 3 minutes to go.
Stephanie Asher has been a force as she normally is. 4 points today, 2 goals, 2 assists.
So what Coach Hexter's telling her is if they're not going to come out on you, then you just stand there and work the clock. Because 3 goals in 3 minutes is very difficult in women's lacrosse, today for Hofstra.
Especially about how physical this game has been. A lot of energy has been lost. So to really get that in such a short amount of time is going to be a hard feat.
Well, the other thing is that she'll have the ball in 3 minutes and she'll just drop it off. So it's not like the clock is going to stop either. It's just going to keep going. So they'll have to get the ball 110 yards that way.
And I bet that's just frustrating. I mean, Alexa Matera really trying here at the back of the net. I mean, this is a team that's really been trying to fight for this. So we'll see what happens with the rest of this opportunity here.
Asher with 30 seconds left, looks right on the doorstep. Fields comes out, challenges Mary Curtin, and then Fields goes down after the save.
And that's a shot that Curtin, she's a freshman. She has to see now. That's the second time that she's been stuffed stick to stick. What she needs to do on that is fake, pull, and go low around the goalie. Fields, again, makes a great play. You know, she's going to be aggressive on that, and she's going to shut the door.
11th save of the afternoon for Maddie Fields. And Elon trying to hold on to this 3-goal advantage with 3:10 to go in the contest. High pass received by Shannon Boyle. Boyle will step it in. Hofstra looks like they're trying to spread out Elon's defense a little bit, but the Phoenix not quite biting. Dodge hard across the field.
No, they're not going to come out and meet them, though. You see they're packing in the 8. They're not coming out like they were in the beginning. Right now, they're...
Right on the crease, a quick stick opportunity, and that looked like a hard foul, but no call. Here's Cowley over midfield.
I think they missed a connection on that first, and I'm pretty sure that's why they didn't get the call. What I would be curious to see is if she was pushed from behind.
But if the ball goes through and she's pushed after the fact, it's still foul.
Yeah, there's no pushing. There's no contact in women's lacrosse.
So under a minute on the shot clock, 2 minutes and change to go in the contest. And you can bet Elon will try and use, if not the entirety, almost the entirety of this shot clock. Here's Asher going to goal. She'll veer back out just to use some time.
And I wonder if coach is saying, okay, you know, we're going to burn at least a minute. When the clock hits 30 seconds, if you can get to goal, then you can get to goal.
Is that 30-second mark. Asher looking right on the doorstep and finding Summer LaRace, who beats Fields, and that should just about do it. Elon extending the lead to 4 once more, 12-8, with 96 seconds left in this one.
At that point, you know, Hofstra's playing an aggressive type defense, sending everybody, the goalie's getting involved in that as well, trying to pick off a pass. And that's tough. It's tough. We call it red most of the time, where you have to just, everybody's out and about. You see Fields is out of the cage, and you're doing everything that you can just to get the ball back. But a lot of times you leave players open in the interim.
And that's what happened. It was just unfortunate. You know, you try getting Maddie Fields involved in another way. Getting her away from the cage really opens up another opportunity for this Elon team, where we've seen this entire game, you really can't give them the opportunities or they will find their way in the back of the net.
Yeah, I'd be curious to see if the play before, like you were talking about, when the quick stick was missed, if there was a foul there as well.
So Summer LaRace, the Long Island native.
Here's the play. So, Ancona. Well, you know, and that's exactly what you said. They missed the connection, but there was definitely a push after the play. So the officials probably were watching ball as opposed to the follow-up of the play, and it looks like Elon got away with one on that.
And that's huge just for Elon to be able to come away with just trying to get it down the field, get another opportunity that leads to another goal, puts them up. I mean, with 1:36 left, it's going to be hard for Hofstra to muster up, you know, a little bit more energy than what they've been producing on the physical side to really try to get back in this game here.
I think they used a lot of energy just to scratch and claw their way back, being down 7-3. And then, you know, you exhale a little bit when it's 8-7 because you think you're right there on the doorstep, and then the next thing you know, you're down by 4.
You look at the schedule coming up for Elon. This was a hugely important win for them to come away with a win here. They've got Towson next week. That game will be on Lac Sports Network. That's at home. And then James Madison just 2 days later. So you've got Towson, James Madison back-to-back in a span of 3 days.
That's a tough draw, but again, if you want to be the best, you have to beat the best.
Well, they've not shied away from top teams this year. Again, they started the season with 3 straight losses to number 20 Duke, 14 Virginia, 18 Notre Dame. They've also sandwiched in Stanford, North Carolina, and Virginia Tech in that schedule. So a bunch of top 25 teams.
Tough offseason, you know, out of conference schedule.
They took their bruises, they took their lumps with it. But that's part of the reason that, you know, you almost never hear. I was surprised to hear Josh Hexter when I said, you know, how are you feeling about this team going into conference play? And he said, I'm actually having a lot of fun this season. You almost never hear that from somebody who's coaching a 1-8 team.
But that's what a tough non-conference slate does. It really builds up this team.
So look for Hofstra, another save by Cipollone, who's played perhaps her best game of the season today. 9th save of the game for Cipollone. Comes away with another one there.
And those are 2 huge saves, because she really hasn't had a shot on her in a while. And really, again, just standing her ground. This could be a game that gets her on a roll now, you know, because that's how goalies go. You're either on or you're off.
So we're inside the final 30 seconds. Elon will move to 1-0 in CAA play. They'll get their second win of the season. They will have won 2 of their last 3 and very closely could be 3 in a row with the narrow loss to Virginia Tech. Hofstra will see their 3-game win streak come to an end and drop to 0-1 in conference play as Fields is out of the net as the extra defender. And Elon will run this thing out. Time runs down. Here from Hofstra, Elon winners today 12-8.
Great opening game for Elon. For Hofstra, I thought that they showed periods of stingy defense, smart offense. You know, they're always going to hustle. They're always going to play hard. But for me, it's a matter of, in the beginnings of the game, finishing those opportunities when you have them and getting Elon to play from behind as opposed to Hofstra having to play from behind.
I think not being able to connect on certain plays and also just bury it in the beginning was a real disadvantage for this Hofstra team, but also the mental mistakes that went into some of those goals by Elon really hurt them as well. And I really do think that with Alyssa Perella out for those couple of minutes at the end of the second half really was a momentum stopper for this Hofstra Pride team that looked to be getting back in it.
Not only that, we talked about early in the game, Hofstra had a lot of free position opportunities. They were 5 of 14 today. So that's something that comes back to bite them towards the end of this contest. So again, our final score today, Elon 12, Hofstra 8, as the Phoenix improved to 1-0 in conference play. They've won 2 of their last 3 games. For Tracy Wiener and Meg McGuire and our entire crew here at Hofstra, I'm Matt Shortis. Thanks for watching our coverage of the CAA Game of the Week.